What is up, guys? NBA 2K rating recap here. We're going to be reviewing the games from February 21st, 2026, Saturday night. 6 games to rifle through. The most important one probably being the Phoenix Suns against the Orlando Magic. The Suns did pull it out in double overtime, 113 to 110, but not without casualties. Dillon Brooks broke his hand. Only 7 minutes in hit for him in this one. Ryan Dunn got the start in the second half. Brooks got whacked by Wendell Carter Jr. On, I believe it was his non-shooting hand, hopefully. So he should at least be able to come back for the playoffs, but he's going to be coming in a little cold. Usually something like that takes like 6 to 8 weeks to recover from. We'll see what the ETA is for Brooks to return from this injury. So huge opportunity for Jalen Green, as Devin Booker was also sidelined in this game. He's going to be out 7 to 10 days at least with a hip injury. So Jalen Green, 16 points, only 6 of 26 from the field in this one, 2 for 11 from 3, but he did hit the game-winning buzzer beater. So he's probably in line for a huge amount of minutes moving forward right now. Hopefully he can hang in there physically, as obviously he's missed most of the year due to a hamstring injury. Grayson Allen, he had 27 points, but didn't shoot it great either. 8 of 22 from the field, 4 of 14 from 3. The Jordan Goodwin also went down with a calf injury in this one. He had 17 points. So yeah, backcourt extremely short-handed right now, very quickly. Suns only shot 34% in this game, but ended up winning the game against Orlando. They grabbed 22 offensive rebounds versus Orlando's 10. 4 of those were by Oso Ighodaro, who double-doubled off the bench with 11 and 12 in 30 minutes. But otherwise, it was mostly a team effort. They just out-hustled Orlando in this one. Going over to them, by the way, the Suns moved to 33 and 24 on the season. They are 7th in the Western Conference, 2 games behind the Minnesota, 3.5 up on Golden State. So they're firmly in the 7th seed. Golden State obviously dealing with Steph Curry's injuries right now as well, so they're not really being pushed for the 7th spot. It's just the absence of all these guards. It's going to make them hard. It's going to make it hard for them to realistically be able to catch Minnesota, who hasn't really dealt with any injuries at all this year. So looking like Phoenix is probably locked in at number 7. Orlando, they're not exactly locked into number 7 as they dropped to 29 and 26. Let me just check where they are in the standings. No, they dropped to 8th with this loss. So or Miami has passed them, but they do have a 3.5 game lead on Atlanta. So it looks like they're not going to be pushed for the 8th seed. It's just going to be a battle between Philly, Miami, and Orlando for 6 through 8, it looks like. But going over the Magic notes from this game, Jalen Suggs sat this one out, so extended offensive responsibility for Desmond Bane, who responded with 34 points, 12 of 18 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, played 40 minutes in this double overtime game. He ended up fouling out, so I don't think he played in the last overtime period. Paolo Banchero had 26 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, had 4 blocks, but he was 11 of 28 from the field. So, as mentioned, Phoenix shot only 34%. Orlando wasn't much better. I think only 42%, but obviously got horsed on the glass in this one. Tristan da Silva, he got the start for Jalen Suggs. They went with a little more size, but he was ineffective. 5 points, 3 blocks, 38 minutes, 2 for 10 from the field. Anthony Black had a little bit of a dud. 10 points, 4 for 12 from the field in 45 minutes of action. Devin Carter played a lot in this one, given Suggs' absence. Jace Richardson was also a DNP CD in this one, so it looks like Javon Carter is probably ahead of him in the rotation. 15 points, 33 minutes, and let's just make that call, and I'm going to knock up his intangibles to make sure he's in the rotation, and then I'm going to bring Jace Richardson back down to, let's say, 60 intangibles. That should get him to a 73. Yeah. All right, so that should fix the rotation sum. Jet Howard, for what it's worth, scoreless in 19 minutes in this one. He was 0 for 4 from the field. He's great in blowouts, though. I mean, 2K, I still remember they gave him badges based on his performance in like a couple garbage time games. And then he recently had a game where he was 6 for 6 from the field in another like huge blowout. But yeah, you got to do it in these close games, man. That's how you get into the rotation. New Orleans, they moved 126, 111. They got a win over the Sixers. They moved to 16 and 42, moving up in the reverse lottery standings. Pelicans, of course, don't own their pick this year. Trey Murphy III was still out due to his shoulder injury. No Yves Missi either. So DeAndre Jordan got the start at the center. 6 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks in 32 minutes, outplaying Andre Drummond, obviously his best game of the season. Derek Queen moving down to the 4, had 10 points and 9 rebounds. Zion at the 1, of course, 21 points, 8 assists, 3 steals. Sadiq Bey had 20 as well. Jordan Poole off the bench, 23 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, 24 minutes. Micah Peavy was also out in this one, so there were some minutes open up on the wing. Bryce McGowan was essentially backup small forward, so Poole playing most of the backup 2 minutes. DeJounte Murray is set to come back soon from his torn Achilles, so we'll see what happens with Poole and Fears on that second unit, but yeah, I'm surprised that the Pels haven't gone to like a bigger lineup more regularly, given Queen is probably just more of a 4, and now that they're using Zion at the 1, like you might as well just be running like just go big. But obviously, I think starting DeAndre Jordan just going big makes more sense overall than like starting like Bryce McGowan's. McGowan's is like basically like a filler NBA player, whereas like you could actually lean into something strategically when you're having all this size with Zion essentially as your point guard, and then Derek Queen as your 4, and then typically like Yves Missi as your 5 would be my guess. But yeah, the Sixers do run. They are without Embiid, so they're running DeAndre Drummond, who, that's a good matchup for DeAndre Jordan, right? But they also run Dom Barlow at the 4, so this was more or less the matchup for them to run that lineup out, at least. Maxey led the way with 27 points, had 7 assists, 5 steals, but he had 5 turnovers, and then Kelly Oubre, he added 25 as well in this one to lead Philly. We'll see. Philly's starting to drop a little bit in the standings. They still are holding on to 6th place, but it does seem like Miami is going to be pushing them for the 6th seed. Of course, they wouldn't have to play in the play-in, whoever gets that 6th seed. So Philly will be very motivated to stay out of that. We'll see how soon Embiid can play. And obviously, Paul George is out for another month with his suspension. So yeah, Philly on thin ice right now. Going over to those Miami Heat, who we've been talking about a little bit. They moved to 31 and 27 on the year, about a game behind the Sixers. 136 to 120 over the Grizzlies. Andrew Wiggins led the way with 28. Norm Powell had 25. Jakubowicz had he got the start with Davion Mitchell out, had 12 points and 5 assists. Tyler Hero staying in a 6th-man role despite Mitchell's absence, had 14 points and 6 assists. So that's probably going to be his role for the rest of the season. Kel'el Ware was also productive off the bench, 11 and 15 in 19 minutes, more or less back to his levels of production before falling into Spo's doghouse. Going over to Memphis, they dropped to 21 and 34, not tanking quite as hard as they were in the last game, but Ty Jerome made his return, did it for Scottie Pippen Jr., 17 points for Jerome in a start. Pippen Jr. off the bench, 18 points, 6 assists, only 21 minutes as he was ejected for getting into it with Myron Gardner of the Heat. Both were ejected. Walter Clayton Jr., he was also back. He was in the starting lineup, had 9 points, 6 assists. I think Cam Spencer was out. I didn't notice if he played or not. But Omax Prosper was the starting center in this one, as Lawson Lovering, who got the start in the last game, was on a 10-day contract which expired, and they opted not to re-sign him. Maybe they will again at a later date. Who knows? Maybe they'll give a standard spot to Prosper and then bring Lovering in on a 2-way. I think that's what we're probably looking at. The deadline, by the way, for 2-way contracts to be signed is March 4th. And what's the February is a short month. We've got 28 days in February. So, yeah, there's about 10 days before that deadline. So maybe they will not bring him back on the 10-day because they'd have to waive him from that anyway to sign him to a two-way if that is the plan. So, yeah, I think they're just going to convert Prosper so that they have him down the stretch. Curious if they do any other moves. Yeah, I don't think they're going to convert Small. Small hasn't really played enough. I believe he's also on a 2-year deal. I think Mashak's also on a 2-year deal. So yeah, I think they'll just ride those guys on two-way deals, and then Prosper's probably going to be the guy that they convert. But for what he did in this game, 9 points, 4 steals, 26 minutes. Taylor Hendricks, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 24 minutes. Prosper's probably the better player than Hendricks at this current juncture. Gigi Jackson, 28 points off the bench to lead the way, 11 of 17 from the field. Jalen Wells also adding 25. Cedric Coward still out with a hyperextended knee. Yeah, we'll see what goes on in Memphis down the stretch. Going over to Detroit, they got their 5th straight win, 126-110 over the Chicago Bulls, moving to 42-13 on the season, best record in the NBA. Jalen Duren, welcome sight, returning from suspension, had 26-13 in this one. Paul Reed, still in the rotation as Big Stu. He has still 4 more games left to serve on his suspension. Reed had 15-9 and 19 minutes off the bench. Cade, 18-13, easy work for him against Chicago. Kevin Huerter, for what it's worth, was a DNP CD against his former team. Detroit mainly just adding him because he was going to be a healthy body for the stretch run, as it seems they may have had an inkling that maybe Jaden Ivey wasn't himself or wouldn't be available. Ivey announced he's going to be out for at least 2 weeks due to knee soreness. So we'll see if he does get shut down or anything like that. But yeah, very disappointing, as obviously right now is when he'd be establishing his market value, playing for a team with a ton of minutes to offer down the stretch. So Ivy's probably going to be going into restricted free agency with a little bit of a whimper. Zach Collins, speaking of whimpers, he's going to be out for the season. Team is shutting him down. Looks like he's going to need toe surgery in order to get himself right. He only played 10 games this year. Probably going to be a veterans minimum player moving forward. He is finally coming off his crazy extension that he got with San Antonio. Barely played with Chicago over the last 2 years. So, yeah. We'll see what Zach Collins, still young, is able to do for an NBA team moving forward. But otherwise, it's with him gone now. It's now a clear path for Nick Richards and Gerson Yabusele down the stretch. Yabu got the start in this game. A near triple-double for him, 12, 9, and 8 in 24 minutes. I personally don't think that it's set in stone that he's like going back to Europe. That might have been just something that was put out there for him to like decline. He declined the player option. That was justification for it. But I mean, if he plays this well over the last 2 months, I'm sure his desire is to stay in the NBA. So we'll see if a team is willing to offer him another similar contract to what he got this past season. If it just appears that what happened with the Knicks was a little bit of a fluke. Obviously, putting up numbers for a bad team versus a playoff team are two different things. So we'll see. And Yabu he's going to be 30 next year, so doesn't have a long NBA future either way. But I am curious to see what he does down the stretch, as it does seem that they like him more than Patrick Williams, as they are willing to start Patrick Williams at all this year. But they start Yabu at the 4 next to Jalen Smith, so they pushed Modest Buzelis down to the 3. I am going to change his position, as I do think this is something that they're going to stick with. Okoro at the 2, that had been happening a lot over the course of the season. He's starting at the 2, but then I think he just spends more of his time at the 3, because obviously they're just so loaded with guards. Even with Jaden Ivey out, they still have Simons, Sexton, Josh Giddey, Trey Jones, Robert Dillingham. Giddey obviously can play bigger as well in like these 3 guard alignments, but and he led the way in this one with 27. But yeah, Simon, Sexton, and Dillingham all off the bench in a game where Trey Jones also played 26 minutes. So Yeah, very, very crowded backcourt in Chicago right now. Hopefully, uh, they all get to the finish line unscathed. San Antonio, they moved to 40-16, 139 to 122 over the Sacramento Kings, third team in the NBA to hit the 40-win plateau. Wemby just leading the way with 28 and 15 with 4 blocks. Fox, Castle, and Keldon Johnson with 18 points each. Not a lot to really address here. Spurs versus Kings, probably the easiest, most predictable win of the season. Kings dropped their 16th in a row, obviously franchise record losing streak for them. DeRozan and Keegan Murray both playing 35 minutes and 36 minutes respectively. Both of them had 20 points in this one. So Kings not shutting their guys down. DeRozan has not missed a game this year. Is probably going to try to play 82 games, similar to like the way that Chris Paul did last season. And then Keegan Murray, him playing 36 minutes is a great sign, as he's obviously missed most of the year due to injury. We'll see what he does down the stretch. Obviously, the Kings need him just to stay healthy, number one, as they've been so racked by injuries in their front court. But also, he could use a little bit of development. They need him to progress a little past the player that he is right now. Going over to New York, they got what was probably the second most important game of the day, besides that Suns Magic one. Probably more important, actually, given the stature of these teams. 108 to 106, they got a win over the Rockets. The Knicks moved to 36 and 21. I believe they are. Yep, that ties them for third in the Eastern Conference. Now tied again with the Cavaliers. So Karl Towns leading the way with 25. Brunson and OG with 20. But Mikal Bridges did not play down the stretch in this one. Knicks instead opting for Landry Shamet with 14, and Jose Alvarado, who had 8 points, 5 steals again in only 20 minutes. Grand Theft Alvarado has really fit like a glove in New York. Honestly, like, he's probably going to push Miles McBride out of the rotation once McBride is able to come back come playoff time. And then Houston, I don't really have a ton of notes for them. KD leading the way with 30. Alperen Şengün still not really playing at his previously established levels. 16, 6 and 6, but had 6 turnovers in this one. Got outplayed by Karl Anthony Towns. And that's our recap for Saturday. There are 11 games that we're going to go through for Sunday. Any interesting matchups? Yeah, we've got the Cavs versus the Thunder. Cavs on a 7-game winning streak against the short-handed Thunder. Nets and Hawks. Hawks are going to be looking to pick up a win there as they try to claw back into the playoff race. Toronto versus Milwaukee. Milwaukee has been feisty, winning a couple more games. Cam Thomas has been playing well for them. Toronto, of course, wants to climb a little bit more in the standings. They're currently 5th in the Eastern Conference. We've got Denver versus the short-handed Golden State Warriors. Dallas, 10-game losing streak against the Pacers, who are motivated to lose every single game ever. So we'll see who's able to out-tank the other in that one. Charlotte versus Washington. That used to be a big tanking game, but no more. So we'll see what kind of line Khan and boys put up against Washington. Then Boston versus LA. That's going to be a huge matchup, actually. Wow. Yeah, we've got Jaylen Brown going up against the Big Three in LA. We've got the Sixers going up against Minnesota. Sixers on a back-to-back. Minnesota is going to be without Rudy Gobert, who is suspended for a game. New York against Chicago. Both of those teams on back-to-backs. Portland versus Phoenix. We'll see what the Suns look like post injuries to all their guys. Orlando versus the Clippers. We'll see if Jalen Suggs plays. Probably just sat out the first half of a back-to-back. And Clippers, Kawhi left the game early in the last one, so we'll see how together they are right now. John Collins also got hurt, if I recall, so they probably will be starting Ben Mathurin in this one. We'll see what happens. Check out the video tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Peace out.